Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about HubSpot. If you're hustling in the trenches to build a business or bootstrapping one of your own, let's talk about an AI-powered tool that can lighten up your workload a bit. HubSpot's Campaign Assistant is a game changer for creating marketing campaigns at scale. It quickly turns your key selling points into a cohesive pitch, which helps you deliver knockout emails, ads, and landing pages in minutes. So let Campaign Assistant take care of the campaigns so you can get back to growing your business. Work smarter, not harder at HubSpot.com/campaign-assistant.
Howdy, folks. It is Thursday, July 21st. I'm Jacob Cohen here with Juliet, Bennett, Rylah, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Today, Juliet's going to be telling us all about 988, the United States' new hotline for mental health help, and what changing a number like that means, as well as the costs to do so and some of the concerns people have about it. But before we get to that, I'm going to do a quick rundown on some of the latest news in business and tech. Let's get crack-a-lacking. All right, first things first. Good news we have is that analysts believe gas prices have already peaked for the summer and expect them to fall below $4 a gallon on average. The current national average is $4.47, so we've got a ways to go until that happens. But bad news is that the median existing home price hit another record in June, rising to $416,000. Sales declined as higher interest rates pushed buyers away, but houses are still selling quickly. Properties remained on the market for just 14 days in June, the fewest since at least 2011. Up next, Instagram rolled out searchable maps that allow users to find popular bars, restaurants, and other locations. It's funny because earlier this week we were writing and discussing how Instagram and TikTok are taking on Google search in this exact space. And now Instagram is clearly leaning into that even harder than we realized. Moving along, Be Real, the social media platform that only lets users post once a day at a random time, reached the top spot in Apple's App Store for free apps. Amazing concept relying on these relevant notions of scarcity and authenticity. I'm just looking forward to seeing how they really monetize this thing. Up next, there was a media acquisition. Industry Dive, the publisher behind B2B newsletters, including Restaurant Dive and Retail Dive, was acquired by Informa for $525 million. They should really get Guy Fieri to join the team and write a newsletter about diners, drive-ins, and dives. Missed opportunity, I think.
Yes, that would be incredible.
In other news, Google is pausing hiring for 2 weeks, saying they need some time to really review their headcount needs. This comes after the company said it would slow hiring, and the company did add 10,000 workers in the second quarter of 2022, so we'll see what happens after these 2 weeks. And lastly, DALL-E 2. Silicon Valley Research Lab, OpenAI's truly remarkable text-to-image generating AI is going to be opening up to 1 million people on its wait list in the coming weeks. I'm sure if we get access, we'll be playing around with that, so stay tuned. And with that, I think it's time to talk about a very, very important new phone number. Juliet, what do you got?
So the number is 988. The deal with 988 is that it is essentially replacing the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So instead of having to remember a 10-digit number or look up a 10-digit number or find it somewhere, you can just remember 988. That will connect you to the new 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline and its network of trained professionals at over 200 crisis centers nationwide. Now, the idea was that it would be like 911. You internalize it and then you know it. And, this is important because there is a huge gap in care in the United States. One survey found over half of adults with a mental illness don't receive treatment at all, even as things like suicidal ideation and substance abuse have been on the rise since the pandemic. Now, there are a couple concerns about this. The Biden administration dedicated over $400 million toward building out the capacity, but only 13 states have dedicated funding to it. For example, California, where I live, dedicated $20 million of its own money, but it may not be equipped to handle what officials think is going to be a tripling in call volume. So now that it's easy to remember, more people are going to call.
Yeah.
Can these places handle the influx? Because obviously you don't want to be stuck waiting or put on hold or hung up on when you're trying to get someone to help you.
Yeah.
And then the other concerns I'm seeing, and these ones are a little confusing, are about privacy, involuntary holds in a mental health facility, or potential interactions with police, which if you follow the news, you know that police officers are frequently not capable or properly trained to de-escalate a situation. About 1 in 5 of all fatal police shootings involve someone with mental illness. So a lot of people want there to be a different response to those kinds of things. And there is concern that dialing 988 would result in the police showing up. And 988 is really just this national prevention hotline, but under a new name. So it's the same thing, basically.
Okay.
And they say that less than 2% of calls result in emergency services. And of those, about half of the time, it occurs with the caller's consent. Now, how this happens is the person you're talking to would determine that you were a risk. But I was reading some pretty upsetting stories in Mad America and also in Slate where people did not say anything that would indicate that. And yet the police still showed up, and that caused a lot of problems for them. One person was taken away in front of all of their coworkers. Another person was slapped with a really huge hospital bill after she was put in an involuntary hold. So there's a lot of concern that people won't feel safe calling this number because they're worried that there may be some sort of police involvement or, something worse could happen to them. Like they're feeling depressed now. How depressed are they going to feel after they've been forced to stay somewhere for 3 days and then get a huge bill or have their job jeopardized because police show up in the middle of the day?
Right. And this is all now in the context of potentially call volume tripling, you said.
Right. So there are lines that you can call that promise absolute confidentiality. But as of right now, it's just kind of like, here's this new thing. Here are some concerns. It's mostly good, but just be aware of this.
All right, shifting gears before we finish off. Juliet, do you, by any chance, purchase Mega Millions tickets?
I do not. I do not participate in any lottery tickets.
You do not participate in the lottery?
No, I'm never in a place that sells lottery tickets, honestly. So I just don't think about it. Why do you ask? I must.
Well, I'm just asking because I saw that the jackpot is now over $630 million.
Wow.
So I don't know. Maybe if we can split in a ticket and we'll split the winnings.
Yeah. We could actually buy houses then.
Yes, we could actually buy houses. How about like a Ford gas for a ride to work?
Yeah, I think that would about cover it. $600 million after taxes, obviously.
After taxes, which, by the way, are pretty hefty when you're making $630 million.
For sure.
All right. Well, we have a 1 in about 292 million chance, or 300 million chance.
Oh, yeah. Well, someone's got to win.
We'll see what happens. And bada bing, bada boom. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. I'm Jacob Cohen here with Juliet, Bennett, Rylah. Our editor today is Ezra Trubiano. Our executive producer is Darren Clark. If you've liked what you heard, we've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter, which you can sign up for at thehustle.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey guys, if you listen to the Hustle Daily Show on Google Podcasts, we want to let you know that the option will no longer be available pretty soon. Google is sunsetting its podcast app sometime in early 2024 in favor of YouTube Music, and we want to give you a heads up before it's too late since that time's almost here. The Hustle Daily Show is available everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're using YouTube Music, we are there as well. If you're an Android fan, there are plenty of apps like Overcast, Pocket Casts, Player FM, and more. So just search for us wherever you decide to listen to your favorite podcasts.